Oh yeah, got a fun trip today. We're gonna be going to the tallest peak in the state of Arkansas. Earlier in the year, I finally got around to doing that Ironbutt ride that I talked about doing, what, last year, year before? I don't know, a long time ago. Me and a couple of guys that I work with, we got together and we did just over 1,000 miles. I think it was like almost 1,100 miles actually. Learned a lot of lessons during that trip. That's part of what I want to talk about in this video is I've always been like a couple 100-mile a day rider, you know. I'd knock out like 300, 500 miles a day, whatever. And that was my first, and notice I say first, that was my first long ride, you know, knocking out 1,000 miles plus in 24 hours, no less, which is a little bit overkill, honestly. I'd probably do it again in the future at some point, but I don't know. I don't feel the need to anymore. It was kind of a self-accomplishment thing. Like, you know, during the trip, we talked about doing the whole saving receipts and all that, and I did. I saved the receipts, I took the pictures of the odometer, everything, right? But after the trip was over, man, I don't feel the need for some piece of paper to tell me that I rode 1,000 miles. Believe me, I know that I rode 1,000 miles. You know, I guess when I get old and maybe my memories start to go, it might be nice to have that piece of paper. But at the same time, I plan on having more 1,000-mile plus rides between now and then. And that's kind of where this topic leads me, is how riding 1,000 miles, much less than 24 hours, but riding 1,000 miles straight, how that changed my motorcycling, or how it changed motorcycling for me. So now the only trips that I can think of, like, I still want to take lots of trips, I want to make lots of rides. All the ones that I'm thinking of are like, you know, what would it be like to ride to the West Coast and hang out for a day or two and ride back, you know? And that's like, I don't know, 2,200 miles or so. Those are the trips that I want to take now, you know? I still want to go to closer places. There's places I want to hit along the way. I really want to go to Zion, man. That's like one of my bucket list rides. And that's somewhere around 1,000 miles, a little over 1,000 miles. And that's just like the area that I find myself looking in. Is that a bad thing? Man, I don't know. You tell me. Like, how do you guys look at rides? Do you, if you've ever taken a long trip like that, did it change how you looked at riding? Like, are you now looking at rides like, man, I could go to California and I live in Texas, you know? I've never been a big fan of commuting on a motorcycle because I like my motorcycle rides to be enjoyment and enjoyment first. But at the same time, I don't want to ride to work. Riding to work just, it takes the fun out of it to me. I don't want to ride to a destination where I'm going to be doing a job for 10 hours a day to turn around and ride back home because I'm tired and I don't want to go for, you know, a trip anywhere. I like being able to go for a ride and be out long enough that I'm going to enjoy myself, which admittedly takes a while. You know, the first mile or two of a ride, I'm not necessarily having fun. I'm riding, you know, it's enjoyable. But I don't start having fun until, like, I don't know, mile 20, mile 30, mile 50, something like that, you know. After I've been on the road for a while, I kind of loosen up, you know, and we start having a little bit of fun. Anyway, this got off on like a terrible tangent. I apologize, but it was totally worth it. So I'm gonna go enjoy some more of this trip. I'll catch up with you guys when we get closer to the mountain. Try and get you some cool scenic views or something at least, right? I know action cameras don't really translate like depth and distance that well, but this is wild, man. This is wild. Dude. We're not held back by a freaking guardrail over here. So freaking open. Awesome.